After President Tinubu's Independence Day speech, here is what Arise TV anchor Rufai has to remind the president, because all these 10 achievements where Tinubu mentioned in his Independence Day speech, I never know whether they don't do 2 or 3. So Rufai has to remind him. Let's hear Arise TV's reply to Tinubu's Independence Day speech. It's very interesting.
Beyond that, he also used the opportunity to highlight some of the key achievements of his administration since he was sworn into power in 2023. He was able to highlight, articulate in education. He talked about security efforts, whilst admitting some of the challenges that his administration has faced. He also talked about the economy and some of the gains that the hard-hitting reforms he's made have also have had an impact on Nigeria. But he did say something that the future is brighter now. We've come out of the labor pains. It's perhaps time to now begin to enjoy the dividends of democracy under the Renewed Hope agenda. Your take on this, or shall I start with you, Rufai, first of all, and then you can share with us your thoughts.
Okay, so he pretty much had like 3 or 4 sections in the speech. The first part was where he talked about our heroes past. Tried to create an historical antecedent of where we're coming from, our founding fathers. The fact that in the 60s we had little secondary schools, I think over 130 or thereabout, and now we have well over 20,000 secondary schools. But the question we should ask is, we have about 20,000 secondary schools. What's the state of those secondary schools? Is it those secondary schools that we have problems with policing effectively? Safe schools is a big ordeal. Secondary schools where Chibok girls were kidnapped. This administration, the APC, came in on the back of advocacy for Chibok girls. 91 Chibok girls are still missing 10 years after APC administration. They called Jonathan all sorts of names for Chibok girls. But APC has been in power 10 years. 91. So when we talk about the fact that we've increased secondary schools, President Tinubu, please, can you bring Chibok girls back home? Because it's a big insecurity challenge. Then he went further to talk about some of the things the administration has achieved. Talked about the dreams of the founding fathers. No, we have not met the dreams of the founding fathers. In fact, if the founding fathers could wake up for their graves, they would cry for Nigeria at 65. We have not met any dream of the founding fathers. In fact, we have disappointed the founding fathers. The likes of Obafemi Awolowo that ramped up education in the south, in the southwest, through free education. We have disappointed them. Not just free education, quality education. He was spending 1/3 of his budget on education. We have disappointed the founding fathers. Talked about what's achieved. Yes, 4.2% growth. Let's not also forget that the economy was rebased, so the parameters definitely were different. Talked about the fact that we have a net surplus, over 7 trillion in net surplus in trade. Talked about the fact that we're taking more revenue now, 13% revenue to GDP ratio. Yes, but we're also borrowing heavily. 10 years ago, before APC came in, debt was over 10 billion US. Today, we are 97 billion. The question is, a lot of people keep asking, what have we done with the money? A lot of corruption. The humanitarian ministry, we've not seen anything as regards it. The humanitarian ministry. You said, yes, we've caught corruption in subsidy. But this government also forgot that after announcing subsidy, we paid subsidy for the next 1 year. What is the integrity as regards the refineries? Over 3 billion spent. We can't see refineries working. And that's why sometimes I blame pregnancy. They are running after Dangote. How come they've not held NNPC accountable? Over $3 billion spent on the refinery. So we are talking about corruption. President Tinubu, yes, EFCC is going after those people. Until we recover the full 3 billion spent on those refineries that are not working today, then we'll know that you are fighting corruption. But if we have not done that, we can't move anywhere yet. You talked about the fact that, yes, the foreign ratings agency are already prisoners. Yes, they are prisoners, but already incurring more debts. We still have pending debts of about 4 trillion for the electricity company that say will rise up to 5 trillion. They struggle to buy gas. But you told them that they should go to the debt management office. The debt management office is saying they can't even take up to that 4 trillion in debts. You talked about SNEL fund. Yes, student loan, a lot of students are collecting the loan. You talk about conditional cash transfer. With due respect, we would like to see the 8.1 million people that are benefited from the 330 billion conditional cash transfer. In fact, some people have subpoenaed through FOI that they should release those numbers. Because you see, we have a lot of announcements that do not meet reality. You talked about insecurity. Yes, there have been arrests of some leaders, bandit leaders. But we've also seen videos of bandit leaders. Villagers now saying, Kabo for bandit leaders when they come to talk about peace. Bandit leaders sit in communities and talk about peace with government officials. We cannot get rid of them. Bandit leaders now hold press conference where they brag that if the military kills them, they will retaliate. All right, we also go ahead. We talk about other things that happen. Look at Kwara yesterday. Okay, I'm doing Kwara. As at yesterday, I've not seen the president's officials give out a statement as regards what's happening. The people are saying that they don't have confidence in the military. Because the military that was supposed to fight the insecurity of bandits in Kwara, nothing is happening. In fact, a Yoruba group.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu this morning. He said that Nigeria has experienced the good and the bad, and that we have turned the corner. We have survived the worst. Now, not many Nigerians will agree with him. Not many Nigerians will agree with him in terms of Nigeria turning, the corner and triumphing over the worst. He was honest, however, to say that our history in 65 years has been one of the good and the bad. Some people will say, in fact, the ugly. They will add it to it. But he spent the bulk of the statement, after a paragraph devoted to the founding fathers of Nigeria, to talk about the achievements of his administration, specifically what he has done in the, I think this is his fourth or third National Day address, 2023, 2024, now 2025. So it's the third one. So the bulk of the statement is concentrated on what his administration has done. Removal of fuel subsidy, which he says now puts more money in the pockets of the states and the local councils. Now, the money, now to what effect? You will ask that question. He says oil production has increased 2 million barrels per day, he claims, because there's now greater security in that area. He talked about what his administration is doing for the youth of Nigeria, quoting in this regard the NEL Fund and, what has been done in that regard. He says his administration is committed to ensuring security, the well-being of the average Nigerian under Section 14 of the Constitution, which is the primary responsibility of government. Now, he talked about fiscal health. He says Nigeria is in a better place in terms of fiscal health under his watch. After all, foreign reserve is said to be over $42 billion. After all, in the Q2, GDP growth is put at 42.3%, far above the IMF projection of 34.3%. He also argued, or he told Nigerians, more or less, that, look, under his watch, this economy is doing much better, and that, Nigerians are far more prosperous than they have ever been. Now, many Nigerians will not agree with that. Many Nigerians will say, well, when Olugbo reigned, we knew what happened. When Aresa reigned, we knew what happened. Now that Tinubu, the Emilokan apostle, is in the saddle, Nigerians are the ones who are in the best position to talk about what they are experiencing. However, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu made the most important part of his broadcast, which is saying he was delivering this morning a message of hope. Now, preaching hope is a Christian eschatological viewpoint. Leaders, politicians, like priests, always preach hope, optimism. They will always tell you that things will be better. And I think that in that regard, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu struck the right note when he says, well, we have done a lot in terms of energy, we have done a lot in terms of road construction, providing infrastructure generally, but that we will do more with security, with infrastructure. And I think that that's the strongest part of his speech. He paid tribute to the founding fathers of this country. The hopes that I said were expressed by Prime Minister Tafawa Balewa on October 1, 1960. But those dreams, those visions of the founding fathers, have we achieved them? This country has gone through civil war, 1967 to 70. This country has suffered the subjugation, the humiliation, the trauma of military rule. Even if some people say, well, we should not bash the military, because the military, even in retrospect, with the benefit of hindsight, made as much contribution to the growth of this country, even much better than the civilians, who do not seem to know what they are doing over the years. Now, he talked also about the talent of Nigerians, and we can agree in that regard. This is a country of talented people, and this is what we should celebrate. Whether we're talking about Akinwumi Adesina, or we're talking about Wole Soyinka, or we're talking about Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, or we're talking about Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, or we're talking about Anthony Madu, that's his name, or all the Nigerians who are excelling in various aspects of life. So it seems to me that what we should celebrate 65 years after is the resilience of the average Nigerian, the ingenuity of the average Nigerian, the patience and commitment and endurance of the average Nigerian, which I think President Tinubu himself referred to in one phrase. We, the people of Nigeria, we are the ones who have sustained this country by refusing to submit to despair, by refusing to become despondent, by continuing to strive and showing the community of nations that whatever may have been the problem with leadership in this country, appropriately identified by Professor Chinua Achebe and others, the people are resilient. And the people say, whether it's 65th birthday of our becoming independent or 70th birthday, the people of Nigeria will continue to assert themselves and excel. And I think today, it is not government that we should celebrate. It is the people of Nigeria, their commitment to the optimism that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and others, and the priest, Bishop Kuka and all the priests, they talk about optimism. They give us hope. That hope continues to survive because we, the people, believe in this country. It is now the responsibility of government going forward, as President Tinubu has promised, to ensure that the people are not disappointed and government continues to be the government of the people, for the people, and by the people, and not a government of a minority that is committed to conspicuous consumption.